Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live from Mindset Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. All right. I spent it, had a great weekend in the Keys for my 40th. I've never been down there, so that was a really, really good trip for me just to relax, reset, and refresh. Right. And I think that's important, guys. Like Dave and I were talking before, and a lot of people don't realize how much work actually goes into hitting a goal or winning, right? We are very, very, very quickly we're very quick to underestimate what it is that's gonna, that we're trying to accomplish, and it leads to a lot of people getting frustrated, right? And the reality is, you typically have to stay with something way longer, okay, and put in way more effort than you think to actually accomplish it, right? It happens with sports, it happens with business, it happens with life, it happens in fitness, okay? And it really, people give up way too early because they're not committed to paying the full price because they always underestimate what the full price is. Let me explain it to you like this. If you're trying to lose weight, right? It's great if you start working out, right? That's step one, and that's certainly the easiest one, okay? But is the guy that's just working out going to get the same results as the guy that's working out and he's on a diet and he's sticking with a diet, right? What about the guy that, you know, if those two guys compete with somebody who's weighing themselves every day, drinking a gallon of water, okay, getting 8 hours of sleep, working out, okay, and sticking to a diet, that the guy that's putting in more is going to hit his goals faster, okay? So whether you realize what's included in the price that you have to pay to hit your goal or not, that ignorance is still going to be there and it's still going to hold you back. So you might as well do as much due diligence as you can, okay? Make a plan and then go and, you know, attack it, right? Because without doing that, okay, and then measuring and adjusting, you're always going to be behind, right? Fully commit to it and then take all the actions that you need to knock out that goal. And it might take you a little bit longer, but at least you'll get there, right? Dave, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. I mean, spot on. First and foremost, man, welcome to the 40 Club, man. I know we always joke about it a lot. And welcome the bones hurting a little bit more and recovering a little slower. So happy birthday to you, man. Hope you
Thank
enjoyed
you.
your time. Yeah, man. Hope you enjoyed your time down in the Keys. But again, man, like, even talking on the 40s and right, like compounding that, from where you've started that journey. We're talking about inputs and outputs here. I think one of the key things that you said before that a lot of people overlook, and this also goes back to social media culture, right? Everybody always assumes that, hey, man, you can make this happen in a year. They overestimate what you can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And it happens all the time. Hey, man, make 30 grand in 10 days and you've never done anything in your life before. First of all, you got to change your identity of who you want to become, right? You got to peel that layer back. You got to kill that old version of you. If you have a long-term goal and something that you're looking at, those inputs that you're putting in, you cannot be that same person anymore and expect a different outcome. That's just a fact, and that's a reality. That's actually something I've struggled with a long time, right? Trying to be that same person that I always was. Hey, well, I can build around it. I can add on to currently what I'm doing. No, you can't. You got to take something away in order to gain that. And a lot of people don't want to quit certain things or give up certain bad habits in order to put in the good ones.
Yep.
Uh, so something else that you spoke on interestingly to add on is this is a long-term game. It's pretty much forever if you look at it from that perspective until you die. That is the difference between doing something physical and then something different to kind of use your mind, right? Like you look at sports, there's a law of diminishing returns in sports and athletes. You get a window 10 years, 15 years. Okay. And then once that ceiling's hit, Father Time's always going to win. You're done there. But in terms of everything else, right? Whether you're building a business, whether you have a long term goal to hit something, even as an employee, you can run that game forever. And as long as you're putting in the inputs, you're going to get better over time. They say entrepreneurship, it's the only game, right, that you get better and your skills increase as time goes on. That's true with everything in life. The main thing is out of all that is as long as you don't quit, you keep putting in the work, you collect small wins. Yes, you're going to get losses along the way. That's inevitable. You're going to hit that mark. You're going to hit those targets. And then you create it again. What's the next targets? We talk about it all the time, man. It's no different than going to the gym, right? Then having that plan, then losing 30 pounds, then gaining 10 pounds of muscle. It's crazy to me that, all these things correlate together, but a lot of times most people, and listen, I've been guilty of this too, you can't put all the pieces together for some reason, right? Yeah, I'm great in the gym, but it's hard for me to focus over here to build this mission. I think the gym can happen a little quicker than a decade, right? Like you could get in shape in 6 months, but a lot of people just get too impatient on that and they throw in the towel, man.
Yeah, they don't stick it through to the end, right? And a lot of what you're creating, guys, the first, call it 3-4 weeks, it's you pushing and just making sure you're knocking everything out and pushing through. Once you get to that point, though, you start having these little things that you're doing every day, like drinking a gallon of water, hitting 2 workouts. It's starting to become a habit, right? And then once it's a habit, guys, it's happening way more consistently, and you're just doing it without even thinking about it. Okay. And then that's really where everything starts compounding and your momentum takes off and you start really knocking, hitting your goals, right? Because what was hard for you, maybe it was waking up at 6, going to the gym, drinking a gallon of water. Now it's becoming a habit and second place. And so now when you have those habits built, you can add more to them. And what does that do? It allows you to hit your goals faster, right? Instead of just drinking the water and going to the gym, you're on a diet. You're weighing yourself every morning. Things like that, it really does add up. And the faster you get that wheel spinning, the longer that momentum is going to carry you, right? So you got to hit that point of no return where everything starts to be second nature and it's a habit, right? And guys, on the flip side to that, okay, because I just went away for 3 days, 4 days. I didn't keep all my habits. Okay, I pulled my back out. I haven't worked out in a week. I'm going crazy. Yeah. Okay, today I start eating the right way again. Tomorrow I'll do some cardio later, and then I'll do some cardio tomorrow to get back into that flywheel of momentum, right? And that's just what you have to do, right? Yeah. I hope this helps. What else you got, Dave?
I was going to say, man, those things start making you feel uncomfortable again real quick, right? It's uncomfortable when you're not hitting, those targets. It creates anxiety. But on the flip side, it's when you are in that pattern already, you're creating a pattern interrupt. That happened to me, when I just got back from OBX, when I got back from the Outer Banks. The first couple of days, it was a weekend, and it's like, all right, well, let me shut this down for a little bit. Come Monday or Tuesday, when you're already there, it's like, all right, this isn't me normally. Like, yes, I'm being intentional as best as I can with my family, but, I'll make sure I check something in on later and make sure everything's going all right. That can derail you too. That's a big pattern interrupt when you're creating habits. All of a sudden you have a pattern interrupt to create really good ones, that you can have a bad pattern interrupt to either go backwards or really shake you and rattle you a little bit.
Dude, 100%. That's why it's like you said, it's a long game. All right, guys, I hope you got something out of it. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and we will catch you on Financial Fitness Friday. Take care, guys.
Be great, y'all.